So, with the PS5 and Xbox selling in Japan, they're both sold out, but the PlayStation 5 has outsold the Xbox Series X. And there's also another side to the story, though, which would be the launch numbers are dire. Well, Soyny, this isn't exactly what you were expecting, now was it? Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have it better tomorrow. So, the sales for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is an interesting one. Xbox has apparently been doing better in Japan than they did previously with the Series X over the Xbox One, because the Xbox One didn't even make up 1% of their sales in Japan. And so it seems that they've been doing better, but they're still not doing great. While they have been, sold out over there in Japan, the sales haven't seemed to have gone very well. PS5 is outselling them, but it's still an improvement for Xbox as opposed to what the Xbox One was. So the Series X is doing better than what the Xbox One did, but still, at least it's improvement, better than nothing. But we're going to get into this whole article. PS5 outsells Xbox Series X by more than 4 times in Japan. But before we get into this article, just want to let everybody know that the RWBY Volume 8 Chapter 2 review will be going up either late tonight or early in the morning, so be sure to expect it. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up. We have another video coming up after this, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled for it. Just wanted to give everybody a quick little update there. So, when it comes to this, there's 2 sides to the story. Now, let's look at this first, and then we'll look at the other one. PS5 sales are eclipsing the Xbox Series X and S in Japan, with Sony's next-generation console selling 118,000 units in 4 days after it launched. Microsoft's Xbox Series X and S consoles, on the other hand, sold 21,000 units over 6 days. Still, the Xbox has reportedly sold out. Both consoles have obviously generated a great deal of hype and excitement in the gaming community, with demand for each system completely outpacing available supply. Well, that and the fact that while it's popular, there's also scalpers running around and buying them up and then, going and reselling them for like way more than they're worth, like 2-3 times what they're worth is absolutely insane. I hate scalpers, man. They're awful. Can't stand them. But then again, that's why I usually don't buy consoles on release. I think the last time I ever did was, a Wii? So it's been a long time since I bought a console on release date. But, think of it is that people, while they are very heavily in demand for, like, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, just remember, they're going to have more out. Just, rather than going and buying one, like, way more than what it's worth, just wait. Just wait for it. You're better off that way, and you'll save more money. It's like, my God, it's just ridiculous. According to Famitsu's research, these sales are taken from the console's launch window, which for the PS5 is November 12th to November 15th, and for the Xbox consoles, it's November 10th to 15th. So, that's a pretty big part of the story, but this is the bigger part here. PS5 sold out in Japan, but launch numbers are dire. And these launch numbers, when you hear how low this is for PlayStation in their own home country, this is going to be crazy. PlayStation 5 has sold out in Japan, although it won't be setting any records. In fact, predictably, this is the second worst major PlayStation hardware launch in the region, including handhelds, since the PlayStation 2, beaten only by the PlayStation 3. The console sold 118,000 units in 4 days, according to Famitsu, which is down considerably on the PlayStation 4's much more impressive 322,000 units. For posterity, the PS3 tallied 88,000 units in its first week. So this is actually very low. While it's sold out in Japan, it's still lower than what it's been. This is pretty rough in terms of that, but it's still selling out regardless. But when you look at Japan, what is it that they're mostly focusing on now? Handheld. They're mostly, when it comes to like gaming, mobile devices. Like on the phone, for example. That's basically what they mostly focus on nowadays. That and a Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo Switch is very popular over in Japan. So, what they're mostly focusing on is not really the consoles, but more so just handheld gaming. So, it's not really a surprise that when it comes to PlayStation 5 and its sales not being as good as it would be because of mobile gaming and the Nintendo Switch. That's what Japan's really into over there. And then again, with Soyny also censoring anime games, yeah, Japan's not a fan of that. They're not going to like that. And so, of course, that would be another reason not to get it if you had to ask me, because, I myself, I'm not going to support Soyny anymore. I stopped after the Sinner and Kagura stuff, and then, of course, what ensured that for me, personally, was the Naughty Dog and The Last of Us Part 2 situation. Just saying. But this isn't the only issue, because here's another thing that was recently stated, because Soyny, well, they made a mistake, because it seems, this is from a supposed insider, as I talked about in a recent video, was I talked about how, in the Bloomberg article, there was a supposed insider at Soyny who was talking about how they were focusing more on their Western audience than they were their Japanese audience. And if that's true, which looks like it might be, well, then that is a problem. This was the statement that was made, stating, it's analyst consensus that PlayStation no longer sees the Japan market as important. If you want to know their take on the Japanese market, you need to ask about it, because otherwise, Soyny won't talk about it. Now, isn't that something? Especially considering that Japan was originally their main focus, and now they're focusing it away to the Western audience. Well, that's just going to make more people cut off and just walk away. And when you look at it, the big thing, Soyny, with them and what they've been doing with censorship and all those problems, well, it doesn't help anything. And one thing that I also wanted to bring up, because, speaking of the Famitsu article, well, let's take a look at this real fast. So while this article does talk about the PlayStation 5 and how many units it sold, as well as the Xbox Series X and how many units it sold, there was also something that stood out to me in this article that was also brought up. And this is what was actually stated, which, like I said, found this to be very amusing. So they stated this. In the same week, November 9th to November 15th, the number of Nintendo Switch sold was 116,276 units, which is combined with both the Switch and the Switch Lite. Nintendo Switch, 93,671 units. Nintendo Switch Lite, 22,596 units. And it's still selling really well. And when you look at this, starting off PlayStation 5 sales, with it being one of the worst, you look back at the PS3, for example. Well, PS3, what was it that really saved the PS3? I mean, the PS3 was selling for $600 if I remember right, which was insane. And the one thing that really saved the PS3 was, well, the anime games. That was the one thing that really brought it forward and helped that console. It really did. And that's the thing, with Sony now deciding to censor anime games. When you see developers that are just jumping ship, going to Switch, going to PC, and now even Xbox, that's the big thing. It's not looking good for PlayStation in the long run if this stuff keeps up, which they're censor happy. Sony is. They're not going to stop. So the thing of it is that it doesn't mean that it won't sell well still. I'm not saying it won't sell well still, but I mean, that's something you have to take into consideration, as well as how, when it comes to consoles, they're not doing as well over there in Japan. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, keep an eye on Xbox, and see how well it sells as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes from here. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.